The message arrived at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was sitting in my home office in Seattle, reviewing acquisition proposals, when my phone lit up with notifications from the family group chat. "Mom, stop acting like you're important. We know you're struggling." Below her message was a screenshot of my LinkedIn profile. Someone had updated my job title to founder and CEO 3 months earlier, right after we closed our Series D funding round. I had intentionally kept it vague, no company name, no details, just a title. "Aunt Kavita, this is embarrassing." "Rohan, just admit you're unemployed." "Uncle Sanjay, my niece, CEO of a bedroom startup faced with tears of joy." "Rohan, mom's right. Time to get a real job instead of pretending to be an entrepreneur." I placed my phone face down and turned back to my laptop. On the screen was a term sheet from a major automotive manufacturer interested in licensing our battery technology, $340 million over 5 years. I highlighted a clause on intellectual property, added a note for legal, and moved on. The messages kept coming. "Rohan, seriously, Anya, this is sad. You're 29. Stop living in a fantasy. Mom, we're worried about you. This delusion isn't healthy. Dad, your brother has a real career at the bank. Maybe he can help you get an admin job." I'd heard versions of this for 7 years. Ever since I dropped out of Stanford's MBA program to work on lithium polymer battery compression in my apartment, they'd called it my science project, my expensive hobby, my quarter-life crisis. When I once tried explaining the breakthrough, a molecular bonding process that increased energy density by 340% while reducing charging time to under 8 minutes, Dad had cut me off. "Anya, that's nice, but when will you focus on something practical?" That was 4 years ago. After that, I stopped explaining. I stopped going to family dinners. I stopped responding to Mom's weekly emails with entry-level job listings. I just worked. Another notification buzzed. "Aunt Kavita, remember when she said she was raising capital?" Turns out it was just maxed out credit cards faced with tears of joy. "Uncle Sanjay, the whole family is embarrassed. Just stop." I closed the chat and approved the automotive deal. It would close next week, our 7th licensing agreement this quarter. They thought I was failing. They had no idea what was coming. By 6:15 a.m., my phone had rung so many times it vibrated across my desk. I ignored it. I was in the middle of a video call with our Japanese partners in Tokyo, discussing timelines for the manufacturing facility we were opening in Osaka. It was evening there, morning for me, and the call had already stretched past an hour. I muted myself briefly and sent a single message to the family group chat. "In a meeting. We'll call later." The replies came instantly. "Mom, stop lying. Rohan, this is getting pathological. Aunt Kavita, we are genuinely worried about you." I flipped my phone face down and unmuted the call. "Let's move forward with the Osaka budget," I said. $180 million. "We'll finalize procurement next week." The partners nodded. Notes were taken. The decision was unanimous. Another milestone approved before most of my family had finished breakfast. After the call ended, I reviewed the overnight European markets. Our stock price had jumped 7% on rumors of the automotive licensing deal. I wasn't surprised. The technology spoke for itself, even if my family never listened. At 7:30 a.m., my phone rang again. This time it was my sister Mira, the one person in the family who usually stayed out of the drama. "You need to check Forbes," she said without any greeting. I frowned. "Why?" "Just check Forbes. Dad's losing his mind." Before I could respond, she hung up. I opened Forbes.com on my laptop. The homepage loaded slowly, and then I saw it, front and center. A professional headshot I barely remembered taking 3 weeks earlier. Below it, a bold headline, "The 29-year-old who solved electric vehicles' biggest problem." I felt my breath catch. The subheading was worse, or better, depending on how you looked at it. Anya Kapoor's revolutionary battery technology has attracted $2.8 billion in venture funding and partnerships with 7 major automotive manufacturers. My phone began ringing again. And again. And again. Mom. Dad. Rohan. Aunt Kavita. Uncle Sanjay. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. The screen lit up with call after call until it felt unreal. I didn't answer. I scrolled. The article was detailed, painfully so. They had interviewed our investors, toured our facilities, photographed our labs, verified our patents. 3 weeks of fact-checking. No exaggeration. No fluff. They listed everything. The $50 million Series A. The $200 million Series B. The $600 million Series C. The $1.95 billion Series D, closed just 3 months ago. The company valuation, $2.8 billion. In the sidebar, a small badge stared back at me. Forbes 30 under 30, energy. My phone showed 47 missed calls. And the family group chat was exploding. I didn't open the family group chat right away. I already knew what I'd find. Shock. Confusion. Sudden pride. I stayed focused on the Forbes article, reading every line carefully, as if it were about someone else. They quoted our lead investor, the one who believed in the technology when it was nothing more than equations on a whiteboard. They quoted the CEO of one of the world's largest automotive manufacturers. Anya Kapoor's battery technology isn't an incremental improvement, he said. It's revolutionary. It will define the next generation of electric vehicles. There were photos of our 85,000 square foot Seattle facility. Our testing labs. The battery prototypes. The team, 247 employees, standing together in matching safety jackets. People who had taken a risk when I couldn't even guarantee payroll. My phone buzzed relentlessly beside my laptop. I finally checked the screen. 89 new messages. I opened the family group chat. The tone had completely flipped. Aunt Kavita, I always knew Anya was brilliant. Uncle Sanjay, so proud of my niece. Truly inspiring. Cousin Jessica, OMG, everyone in my office is talking about you. Rohan, wow. Congrats. Always believed in you. I stared at the words, my expression flat. Always believed in you. Less than 12 hours ago, they'd called me delusional. Embarrassing. Unemployed. Now, because Forbes had confirmed it, they remembered a different version of the past. My phone rang again. Dad. This time, I answered. Anya, honey, he said, his voice unusually soft. Why didn't you tell us? I tried, I replied calmly. Well, you weren't very clear. We thought you were just struggling. Working odd jobs. I repeated Mom's text from the night before. Playing entrepreneur in your bedroom. There was silence on the line. We are very proud of you, he finally said. Your mother and I would love to take you out to dinner. Celebrate properly. I'm busy, I said. Come on. Don't be petty. Like what? I asked. Like pretending none of last night happened. We're family. I looked at my screen, at the Forbes headline, the messages pouring in, the sudden affection. I have meetings, I said. I need to go. Before he could respond, I ended the call. By 9 a.m., my assistant told me 6 different family members had tried calling my office. Rohan wanted to talk about investment opportunities. Aunt Kavita wanted to know if we were hiring. Uncle Sanjay had valuable business connections. At 10 a.m., I walked into a board meeting. Our lead investor smiled at me. Congratulations on the Forbes piece, she said. Well deserved. I nodded. Family's been blowing up my phone. She smiled knowingly. Let me guess. Suddenly, everyone remembers being supportive. Something like that. The board meeting moved on as if nothing extraordinary had happened. Slides filled the screen. Numbers replaced emotions. We reviewed the automotive licensing agreements, finalized timelines for the Osaka facility, and discussed early conversations with 3 aerospace companies interested in adapting our battery technology for electric aircraft. The CFO presented the quarterly report. Revenue was up 340%. Operating margin set at 23%. Projected annual revenue, $890 million. Everyone around the table nodded with quiet satisfaction. To them, this was progress. Validation had already happened long ago. My phone buzzed constantly in my pocket. I silenced it, but notifications kept stacking on my smartwatch. When the meeting finally ended, I checked. 247 new messages in the family group chat. I didn't open it. Instead, I saw private messages. From Rohan, hey. I'm really sorry about last night. I didn't know. Can we talk? I want to understand what you're doing. From Mom, honey, I'm so sorry if we ever seemed unsupportive. We were just worried about you. From Dad, 3 voicemails. I didn't respond. At 10 a.m., my assistant reminded me about my next call. Before she left, she hesitated. Your mother is on line 3, she said. She says it's urgent. Tell her I'm in meetings all day. She said she'll hold. Tell her I'll call her back. She nodded and quietly closed the door. I sat alone in my office, the Forbes article still open on my screen. 7 years. 7 years of 90-hour weeks. 7 years of maxed out credit cards. 7 years of being told I was embarrassing the family. And now, because an external source had confirmed it, everything was different. My phone rang again. Mira. I answered. Mom's freaking out, she said. She's been crying all morning. About what? I asked. About the things they said. She feels terrible. She texted me at 11:47 p.m. saying I was pretending to be important, I replied. That was before Forbes. There was a pause. I know, Mira said quietly. That's the point. Their family, she continued. They made a mistake. I told them for 7 years, I said. They chose not to believe me until Forbes did. You dropped out of Stanford. You maxed out credit cards. You refused every job that sent you, she said gently. To build something revolutionary, I replied. Which I did. Mira sighed. So what now? I looked out at the Seattle skyline, at the facility where hundreds of people came to work every day. I'm just not interested in performing gratitude, I said. For people who only value me after external validation. She didn't argue. At 2 p.m., an unfamiliar number lit up my phone. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. Anya Kapoor, a professional woman's voice asked. This is Olivia Brooks from Good Morning America. I straightened instinctively. We'd love to have you on the show this Friday to discuss your Forbes feature and your battery technology, she continued. Would you be available for a short segment? I didn't respond immediately. We are very interested in your story, Olivia added. A young entrepreneur disrupting the automotive industry. Our audience would love to hear about your journey. My journey. 7 years of doubt. Mockery. Dismissal. All condensed into a 30-second inspirational montage about following your dreams. Let me check my schedule, I said finally. I'll get back to you. Of course, she replied. We're thinking a 6-minute live segment from our New York studio. Travel and accommodation would be covered. After the call ended, I sat staring at my phone. Good Morning America. The family group chat had crossed 300 messages. I opened it this time. Uncle Sanjay, can't wait to tell everyone at the club. And Kavita, this is such a proud moment for our family. Rohan, please call me. I want to make things right. Mom, honey, we love you. We're so proud of you. The club. The same club where Uncle Sanjay had told people I was going through a phase when I tried explaining the battery technology at a family wedding 3 years ago. At 4 p.m. My CFO knocked on my door. The automotive licensing deal closed, she said. 340 million. Wire transfer hits tomorrow. Great, I replied. Thank you. She lingered for a moment. You okay? You seem distracted. Family stuff. She nodded knowingly. The Forbes article. Yeah. She smiled sympathetically. My family did the same thing when we went public. Relatives I hadn't heard from in years suddenly had advice, connections, and investment ideas. She paused at the door. For what it's worth, she said, the people who believed in you when you were working out of your apartment, that's your real family. After she left, I thought about that. The early investors who trusted equations on a whiteboard. The first 10 employees who joined without guarantees. The partners who believed in the science when everyone else said it was impossible. Those people hadn't needed Forbes to tell them I was legitimate. At 6 p.m., my phone rang again. Mom. I answered. Anya, thank God, she said. I've been trying to reach you all day. I've been working, I replied. I need to apologize, she said quickly. Last night, we were worried. We thought you were struggling and pretending everything was fine. Silence stretched between us. We made a mistake, she finally said. A big one. We should have listened, Mom said quietly. We should have believed you. You should have respected me, I replied. Instead of waiting for Forbes to tell you I was legitimate. You're right, she said, her voice breaking. You're absolutely right. She asked if we could talk in person over the weekend. I glanced at my laptop screen, where an unread email from Good Morning America sat at the top of my inbox. I can't this weekend, I said. I'll be in New York. I have a television interview. A television interview, she repeated, stunned. Good Morning America, I said. They want to talk about the technology and the Forbes article. There was a pause as she processed it. That's wonderful, honey. Congratulations. Thank you. Maybe the weekend after, she asked softly. We could all get together. Celebrate properly. Where was that support? I asked calmly. When I was maxing out credit cards. When I was working 90-hour weeks in my apartment. When I was explaining the breakthrough to anyone who would listen. She started crying. We didn't understand, she said. We thought you were having a crisis. You decided I was delusional instead of listening, I replied. And nothing I said mattered until Forbes confirmed it. I'm sorry, she whispered. What do you want us to do? Start by acknowledging that your love shouldn't require external validation, I said. That your daughter's words should have been enough. I ended the call. At 7 p.m., as I was driving home, Rohan called. I know you're angry, he said. You have every right to be. I didn't respond. I mocked your startup, he continued. I called it a bedroom business. I told people you were unemployed. I was wrong. I waited. I want to understand, he said. Why didn't you just show us proof? Funding, patents, partnerships. I pulled into my driveway and turned off the engine. I tried explaining for 7 years, I said. Every time, someone interrupted me. Every gathering turned into a joke about my expensive hobby. But if you'd shown us the money wasn't the point, I cut in. The technology was. And none of you cared enough to listen. Silence. So what now? He asked. I'm not cutting you off, I said. But I'm not pretending everything's fine. You don't get to mock me for 7 years and then celebrate me the moment Forbes validates it. That's fair, he said quietly. For what it's worth, he added, I really am proud of you. Thanks, I said. After we hung up, I sat in my car for a long time, staring at the steering wheel. The family group chat now had nearly 400 messages. Congratulations. Pride. Screenshots of the article. And not one person had acknowledged that less than 24 hours earlier, they'd called me delusional. Later that night, I opened the email from Good Morning America and typed my response. Thank you for the invitation. I'd be happy to participate in Friday's segment. I hit send. Then I opened the family group chat and began typing. I paused, reread the message, and then continued. I appreciate everyone's congratulations. For clarity, the company has existed for 7 years. The technology has been in development for 8. I've been trying to explain this since 2017. The only thing that changed yesterday was Forbes confirming what I'd been saying all along. I'll be on Good Morning America this Friday. You're welcome to watch. I sent it. The responses came immediately. Mom, we'll definitely watch, honey. So proud. Rohan, recording it for sure. Aunt Kavita, can't wait to tell everyone. Uncle Sanjay, our family star. I set my phone to do not disturb and went inside. The house was quiet, 3 bedrooms, 2 offices, a kitchen I barely used because I worked too much. I'd bought it 2 years earlier with my Series B earnings. Comfortable, modest by tech standards. My family had never seen it. They'd never asked. They assumed I was struggling, living in a small apartment, barely getting by. I made tea and sat on the couch, thinking about Olivia Brooks's question. Would you like to share your journey? What journey would I share? The polished version. The inspiring narrative about perseverance and success. Or the real one, The years of being dismissed by the people who were supposed to believe in me. My phone buzzed despite being on Do Not Disturb. Emergency contacts only. Mirror. I know you're not taking calls, but I wanted to say you're right. They should have believed you without Forbes. I was proud of you the whole time. I just didn't say it loudly enough. I stared at the message, then replied. Thank you. That means a lot. She responded immediately. For what it's worth, you don't owe them anything. Not forgiveness. Not a celebration. Not even a relationship if you don't want one. I set the phone down and looked around my quiet house. 7 years. A $2. 8 billion valuation. Revolutionary technology. And all I could think about was Mom's text from the night before. Stop acting like you're important. We know you're struggling. The tea had gone cold. I turned my phone to airplane mode and opened my laptop. There was work to do. Aerospace companies were waiting. The Osaka facility needed final approvals. Q4 projections needed review. I had a company to run. External validation was temporary. Self-belief was permanent. And I had built something extraordinary by believing in myself when no one else did. That was enough.